everybody. My name is Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. You probably wondered what was going on with me the last few days. I've had a rough time of it for a little while. I'm going to just be very honest and share what I know, what I don't know, because I'm very confused by it. But anyway, I went into the hospital. I had the last I think you knew I had fallen and hurt my other hip. So I said I thought I might have broken it. So we went to see about having it looked at. I had not broke it, thank goodness. But anyway, I just bruised it very badly, and that was all that was. So past a few days and whatnot, and when I went in to have them look at my hip, they ran blood work and whatnot, and had made other discoveries and said, they wanted to look into it a little bit further. So I was to stay, and they would just do these blood tests, and we'd go and went on our way. So then they did a CT scan. They did an ultrasound at one point. Another test was the MRI, and I don't know, they just kept doing different tests. But they were trying to make a balance on my vitamins. And I wasn't coming out with very good numbers on some of my vitamins and stuff. My potassium was very low. And so we started drugs to elevate my potassium. And they were very concerned about my weight loss. And because my weight loss in the last 2 months has become very drastic. And now at home, my scale had gone down as low as 122. Their scale read 130. So 130 is much better than 122. But I'm not sure. My scale seems to normally be accurate. So it could have been just a different time of day, wearing different clothing, whatever. Either way, that's much too low for somebody who's been heavy her whole life. Meanwhile, while I was in the hospital, here's where it gets kind of strange, very strange. While I was in the hospital, I had I guess it would be an episode or a something that happened to me. Anyway, where I was doing hallucinating, and I told you all I was having hallucinations. But this one was so real to me that I can't even convince myself yet that it was a hallucination. I was always told that the hallucination wouldn't talk to you or wouldn't interact with you, and wouldn't come overnight. Like you'd have a different hallucination the next day. This was not the case for me. That's why I have a hard time saying that it was a hallucination, because it was so real to me. And unfortunately, it was so real to me that I thought it was happening again the next day. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Mean Girls, the teenage girls that fight about things and they're mean. I kind of felt like I was trapped in a bed with a group of mean girls. And I've never been treated like this. And somebody thinking something's funny about you if you can't open a jar or you can't lift a lid or you spill things, it's not a very nice feeling. And I took it very personal. Claudine said to me, "Mom, don't be like that. They're not saying anything. They're not talking about you behind your back." I said, "No, they don't do that when you're here. It's only when you're not here." She tried to convince me that I was wrong. And of course, you can't convince somebody they're wrong if they're dead certain they're right. And I wish I would have been able to have been graceful about it and said, "Okay, Claudine, I understand. But I just didn't. I became very combative, and I was demanding she's take me home, and she said, "Mom, you have to stay here. You're very sick. You have to stay here." So then it was very upset that I had to stay, and I feel terrible that I would treat anybody that way, and say nasty things or say things that aren't nice, or even if I think them, because if it's not happening, I shouldn't be blaming somebody. If it is happening, then I should be able to recognize that it's happening. But I said to her, I said, "I'm taking your word out for Claudine." I said, "I will stay and comply until I had the testings all done. And so I tried to do that. And then got through those 2 days of testing. And today she said she still wants me to come in for another test, but she said we'll do it as an outpatient, so because it's at a different hospital. So I do that test. When do I do that test? Oh, about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks, I think she said, and it's a bone marrow test. So I'm going to go do that in about 3 weeks. And in the meantime, we were going to try to up my protein. We're going to try to up my calories and put a little bit of the weight back on. And I don't need a lot of it back on. I need enough to make me healthy enough. Right now, my legs can't hold my body. Every step I take, I am at risk of falling. If I fall again, I could do real damage. So I have got to stay in my chair. I've got to not be doing those things. So I am kind of on very restricted duties of what I'm doing. And I just have to take it from there. My cast was getting very dirty, so while I was there, they were kind enough to recast it. And that comes off, I think, Monday. And we're just going to take it one day at a time. Now, I don't know when I'll be doing videos. I don't know if I'll be doing videos. I don't know what the future is going to hold. But I miss everybody. I say thank you so much for being supporters. I really do appreciate it. And for anybody who thinks that the information is any different than I give, I don't know what to say to you, because the things that I was hearing in these hallucinations were all made up stories. So I like to make up a good story now and then, but usually based in fact. I can't imagine anybody doing that to somebody else if it wasn't real. So I have to trust that this was a hallucination. This is likely the path I'm on, and it will probably get worse, and I feel very sorry for Claudine having to deal with me. But I am happy to be back and say hello to everybody. You will notice that some of my videos are missing. I started to delete them, and then I went, no, I did this for my kids to see. So then I started to save them as private. And then Claudine said, Mom, you deserve to talk to your friends. They deserve to hear how you're doing. And so Claudine convinced me that I needed to at least tell you what I was doing and why you haven't seen me for a while. So I'm going to catch up on a couple of videos, and I'm going to rest for the rest of the evening. And I don't know if I'll talk to you tomorrow or not, but I'll give it a good shot. All right, take care.